when the gravity alarms began to scream. Everyone else hit the floor. Everyone except the human. Cadet Erin Vale stood in the center of Hangar Ring 12 as the red warning lights flashed across the curved metal walls. Cargo crates slid across the deck. Tools clattered. 2 insectoid cadets from the Threxian Spiral Guild collapsed under the sudden weight spike. Gravity surge detected. The station AI announced. Field instability at 1 point for standard and rising. For most species aboard Orbital Academy Station 7, anything above 1 standard was dangerous. Bones cracked. Organs strained. Balance failed. For Erin, it felt like home getting slightly serious. He widened his stance. Across the hangar, a tall scaled cadet from the Varelian High Clutch tried to crawl toward the wall. His support harness sparked and died. System failure, the Varelian hissed. The gravity deepened again. 1.6, the deck groaned. A light fixture tore free from the ceiling and crashed down between them. Erin moved. Each step felt heavy but controlled. His boots struck the floor with solid impact. His muscles burned but obeyed. He reached the fallen Varelian and grabbed the front of his uniform. "Hold still," Erin said. "You cannot lift me," the Varelian gasped. "Your spine will compress." Erin did not argue. He hauled the alien up. The added weight slammed into his shoulders. His knees bent hard. Pain flashed through his thighs. But Earth had trained him for this since birth. Every staircase, every run, every jump against one constant G pulling him down. The AI's voice returned. Gravity at 1.8 and rising. Across the hangar, 3 cadets from the consortium of Lothari lay pinned under a toppled cargo frame. Their buoyancy rigs flickered uselessly. Erin made a choice. He half-dragged, half-carried the Varelian toward the nearest maglock pillar. He slammed the emergency clamp and secured him upright against it. "Stay," Erin said. The Varelian stared at him in disbelief. "You are still standing." Erin was already turning back. The gravity surged again. 2.0. The air itself felt thick. His heartbeat thundered in his ears. Each breath required effort. Sweat ran down his spine. He reached the cargo frame. It was industrial-grade alloy. Under normal gravity, it required 2 lifters. Now, it felt like it weighed a mountain. The Lothari cadets beneath it trembled. Their thin limbs flattened against the deck. "You must retreat," one of them whispered. "Structural collapse imminent." Erin crouched. He slid his fingers under the edge of the frame. For a second, nothing happened. His vision narrowed. He thought of Earth, of construction workers carrying steel beams, of rescue teams lifting concrete slabs after earthquakes, of athletes training under weighted sleds just to move faster. Later, humans did not evolve in comfort. They evolved in resistance. Erin roared and pushed upward. The frame lifted an inch. That inch was enough. Crawl. He ordered. The Lothari dragged themselves free, one by one. Gravity spiked again. 2.2. Warning. Klaxons shifted to a higher pitch. Critical threshold approaching, the AI said. Erin released the frame. It slammed back to the deck. His arms shook violently now. His legs trembled with each step. This was beyond training levels, even for him. Across the hangar, the main exit door had jammed half shut under pressure distortion. Of course it had. He staggered toward it. Commander Sellet of the Galactic Coalition Academy appeared at the far end. Supported by 2 staff officers, Evacuation teams are en route, Sellet called. Cadet Vale, withdraw immediately. Erin reached the door. The gap was too narrow for the larger species to pass through. The metal frame had warped inward. Behind him, more cadets lay scattered across the floor. He set his hands against the door and pushed. Nothing. He shifted his footing and pushed. Again, pain exploded through his shoulders. 2.3. His knees buckled and hit the deck hard enough to bruise. He did not stay. Down, he rose slowly, pressing his back against one side of the frame and his boots against the other. Then he drove outward with everything he had. There was a scream of tortured metal. The gap widened another few inches. Move, he shouted, one by one. The injured cadets crawled or were dragged through the opening by those outside the surge zone. Erin held the door as long as he could. When the last Lothari slipped through, his strength finally failed. He fell forward onto his hands. Gravity suddenly eased. 2.3 dropped to 1.5. Then to 1.0. The emergency stabilizers had engaged. The crushing weight vanished. Erin lay on the deck, chest heaving. Boots approached. Medical drones hovered above him. Commander Sellet knelt beside him. You disobeyed a direct withdrawal order, Sellet said quietly. Erin managed a weak smile. Yes, Commander. Sellet studied the twisted doorframe, the lifted cargo slab, the cluster of alien cadets alive and breathing beyond the threshold. You also prevented 7 fatalities around them. Shaken cadets stared at the human. The Varelian, now stabilized, approached slowly. We mocked your species upon arrival, he said. We called you overbuilt, inefficient, excessively dense. Erin rolled onto his back and looked up at the ceiling lights. Yeah, he said softly. I heard. The Varelian lowered his head. Your world forges strength through constant burden. We mistook that burden for weakness. Commander Sellet rose and addressed the hangar. Let this incident be instructional, Sellet said. Earth's gravity is not merely a planetary statistic. It is a crucible. It shapes endurance, structural resilience, and combat viability in high-mass environments. He looked down at Erin. Cadet Vale did not flinch when forces exceeded safe parameters for every other species present. Remember that. Later, in the medical bay, as scanners passed over his strained muscles and microfractures, Erin stared at the ceiling and thought of home, of rain falling hard against pavement, of hills that never stopped rising, of the quiet pressure of one full G, holding everything down every second of every day. They had laughed at that weight. Now they understood. On a station built for comfort, in a galaxy that favored light worlds and gentle skies, one human had proven a simple truth. When you are born under heavy gravity, pressure does not scare you, it builds you. And when the numbers climb, and the alarms scream, and the floor tries to crush you flat, a child of Earth does not panic. A child of Earth stands, asterisk.